Okay, Jeff, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. This is one of our monthly Jeff Liker live webinars. Okay, this is exciting, always each month. And today, Jeff's going to talk about deployment strategies, narrow versus deep. The main question is this available to us, the recording? And the answer is yes. Go to leanleadership.guru. There's a blue button there, and it says join our online office. You can get a 7-day trial free, so just apply for it. You'll get an email back telling you how to join. Now, when you go in, along the top, there is a documents icon. You'll find the documents icon. Click on that. Then you'll find webinars. Then you'll find Jeff Liker webinars, and it's in there. Our panelists are allowed to join in any time. They can take themselves off mute. So by all means, take yourself off mute if you have a question in the next 40 minutes. And after the 40-minute presentation, Jeff is going to open it up to questions from the group, and I will promote people as they ask questions. Jeff, thank you very much for doing this again each month. You're so consistent. Thank you. Go ahead.
Let me start with a story. I was asked by one of the largest banks in the world to give a presentation in a 3-day offsite. This is a European bank, like I said, one of the largest in the world, and they're deploying Lean through all their banks. They have hundreds of sites and dozens of regions. The setup of the room was a huge ballroom. There were tables, and at each table it was by country. So for example, for Italy, they would have the Italian table, and then they would have an Italian flag, and they would do that for Brazil and the United States and all the various countries that were there. And the senior management team from each country was there. And they invited me to speak about the Toyota Way, and they had another speaker from an auto company talking about their Lean journey. And we're emphasizing culture. We're emphasizing this is a slow process, a long-term process. Then the head of this Lean transformation, a vice president who reported to the CEO, came up and talked about how excited he was and about how they were going to streamline their work processes. And he also said that they made promises to the board of directors, number one, that they would have $3 billion in the first year in one-time savings, and then $1 billion a year in ongoing sustainable savings. And he gave them kind of a pep talk, and he had a list of the 20 or so processes that they were going to work on with an outside consulting firm, and they were going to create gold standards, which are, this is the standard for the world for how you handle customer transactions, deposits, how you bill customers. So for all the various processes, here's the standard, and they welcomed input to the gold standard to improve upon it. Now, does that sound like they're going to deeply penetrate the culture of that multinational bank? Or does that sound what we call 1 inch deep and a mile wide? They're going all over the world, they're going across the company. And by deep, what I mean is the depth of change in people in the company so that they are skilled and motivated in improvement. So everyone, including this bank, they were talking about continuous improvement, and then they were talking about streamlining, and it seemed like continuous improvement and streamlining were two different things. And the question is, are they going to get to continuous improvement through fast, radical streamlining, centralized from a central office with a price on their heads of billions of dollars in savings? And it was clear to me that I'd kind of got myself into a bad situation. That is, I flew over to Europe and got paid well, but my message was going to be on deaf ears. It wasn't going anywhere. Because what they're doing is they were trying to change the whole company with a small number of big hit changes. And you can imagine the kinds of changes that are going to get you billions of dollars. There's going to be closing of offices, there's going to be restructuring, there's going to be outsourcing of services, there'll be centralization of services. Each of these is what we would call a transactional change. That is, basically you write it up, and with a signature, someone with the authority can make it happen. And it does not require change in people, it does not require development of skills, and in fact it does not necessarily improve the company. In fact, we all know of cases where when you outsource things, the quality goes down. The outside company doesn't know your business, they're not integrated, and the service becomes kind of average, standard, and bland. So this is the challenge that I see facing the lean community, facing companies interested in continuous improvement, is on the one hand, pressures by the financial folks, by the stakeholders who own the business, to get quick hits, and that requires going narrow very broadly across the company, and then the desire for continuous improvement, which requires many people broadly across the company with the skills and motivation to systematically improve processes. The model for lean is Toyota. They've been studied to death for the last 30 years. And the question I pose is, what is it we're trying to learn? This is one model, one company. They've certainly got their faults, but they have a way. They have a Toyota production system. They have the Toyota way. They have a systematic approach. And what is it that we're trying to learn from this company? And one thing we could learn are now what we call lean tools, or perhaps we call them Lean Six Sigma. And the question is this really a complement to Six Sigma? A company has a Six Sigma program, they have black belts, they're deploying the black belts. The black belts have also a price on their head that they have to achieve a certain savings per year, and they have to do a certain number of projects, and they go out and they get the money. And they do that both through sometimes an individual process improvement, like fixing a machine or improving a software system, and sometimes through value stream improvements, looking end to end. And then you can look at things like, should we outsource this? Should we keep this in-house? Should we combine these departments? Can we eliminate waste by having standards that everybody follows? So that's one possible outcome of studying Toyota. Is we learn these tools, we train experts in the tools, kind of like Frederick Taylor wanted to train scientific managers or industrial engineers to go out and make the company more efficient. A second thing we might be trying to do is fix the company, and that usually happens when the company has some great pain. I know a company that adopted lean because they were a supplier to Boeing, and they were constantly shutting Boeing down because of late deliveries. And in fact, 50% of what they shipped was late. Boeing themselves were adopting lean, and they said, this is ridiculous, we can't be lean if our suppliers are not. So what they did was threatened this supplier and said, you've got 6 months to turn this around and deliver on time, or we'll drop you as a supplier. Immediate crisis. Boeing's their biggest customer. So in that case, you're bringing in lean to fix the company. In this case, to fix late deliveries. It could be that you're on the verge of bankruptcy or coming out of bankruptcy, so you have to fix the cost structure. It may be that your quality is bad. Usually you would then have a quality program, not a lean program, but you might have a lean program, or a Lean Six Sigma program, or Six Sigma program. So in other words, there's a burning issue, and you bring in the experts, all hands on deck, you fix the company. This is also usually done narrowly and broadly instead of deep and focused. Although it could be focused on a specific issue like late deliveries, and you could do something like build a warehouse and ship from the warehouse. A third thing you might do, and these are not necessarily mutually exclusive, is you might decide we really need lean change agents. We need performance excellence experts. It used to be industrial engineers. Now it might be Lean Six Sigma black belts. And we need for them to have the skills to go in and fix processes, to go in and improve value streams. In that case, we're going to train them in the skills to do that and create departments of experts. And then finally, and what Toyota, the way Toyota describes the Toyota production system, the way they describe the Toyota Way, is as a total management system that is really built on a culture of respect for people and continuous improvement. So in that case, we want to penetrate very deeply into all the people in the company, and we're talking about now change in mindset, developing deep skills, and having managers whose job was to come and make sure that people are working and machines are busy and product is getting out, looking at ways to improve the system and having the skills that we might ordinarily think of as the skills of the black belt. So these are 4 different approaches, and